So on every teenager's favorite holiday, that being 420, Toys for Bob released a temporary playable beta of the new Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Team Rumble, to those who digitally pre-order the game. I have looked down on the game upon its rumors and leaks, not really thinking much of the game, but I eventually caved in and decided to give it a try. So this video will be about me giving my fresh opinions on this upcoming game to let you all know how I feel about it. I have to say that this game was fun to play. Like, this game is seriously tons of fun. The kind of fun where you refuse to put the damn game down and time just flies by. Crash Team Rumble is a team-based 4v4 online multiplayer game where the objective is to score the most Wumpa Fruit until you win. Wumpa Fruit can be found on the ground or in crates like in the core games, but the only way to truly score is to bring the fruit to the scoring bank. The beta gives you 5 characters to play as, with each one having their own stats and moves. Just like Crash 4, you get Crash, Coco, Cortex, Dingodile, and Tawna. There are a total of 3 classes, with each character fitting into one of 3, but nobody is a clone in CT Rumble. For example, Crash and Coco seem like clones at first, but Coco is in the booster class, which benefits more from supporting teammates by being able to collect more relics. More on those later. While her brother Crash is in the scoring class, which benefits the most from collecting and dropping off Wumpa Fruit. Tawna is in the scoring class like Crash, but her moveset and the rest of her stats are different from Crash's. While playing the game, it's important to stay alive at all times, as dying at any point will reset your fruit and relic count to 0, with players stealing their relics if they successfully kill you. Little components like this already make CT Rumble interesting, but to add some spice, we get the relic stations. By collecting relics, you can drop them off at booster pads to give your team a slight edge. This can range from a ball that increases your speed while protecting you and also functioning as an attack, a trampoline that only your team can use, or large map-based hazards like Oxide's UFO, which blasts a laser on the opposing team. On top of that, every character has a special item that they can deploy to help out the team, which can be selected for a match. There isn't much to play with in the beta, but we have a healing fridge, a spinning plant, Gasmoxian guard, and a Wumpa Fruit that fills up over time to help you rack up even more points. These can be strategically placed in multiple places on the map, such as your enemy's score bank, on or near relic stations, or even on gem pads, which can multiply your score when all pads are activated. These all have a variety of uses. For example, placing your team's healing fridge on the enemy bank will help players like Dingodile survive longer and take out anyone on the opposing team as they score. Or inversely, you can place a Gasmoxian guard on your bank to attempt to electrocute other players trying to prevent you and your teammates from getting points. I can't stress enough how much fun I had playing this game in its beta form, as there is far more depth here than I anticipated, and I'm already ready for more. As for now, we just get 3 maps and 5 characters, which is a good enough start, but now I want to see what Toys for Bob will add in the future. I've spent nearly 10 hours on this fucking game and it already feels like a couple. I'm actually pissed that we couldn't play more, and the fact that the beta was only up for a few days feels criminal. I mean, I have other shit to play, sure, but I need my Rumble fix now. This might be the first drug test I fail. Yeah, CT Rumble is a drug, not a game. As for the characters and how I feel about them, Tawna became my main. While she isn't as durable as Cash Banuka, she can cover a lot of distance with her grappling hook, she is fairly strong, and she can hold the most fruit at a time, that being 130. She has also been given access to the triple spin move, which was exclusive to Crash and Coco in Crash 4. Pairing her up with the Wumpa Stash item makes her an absolute beast at scoring points. Crash and Coco are also fun to play as, since they're simple to pick up and play. Coco can do most of Crash's moves, but instead of sliding, she has a temporary wall, which will shock anyone on your trail or come in right at you up front. This wall can also be placed in mid-air, which gives Coco the sick air boost at the same time. I unironically want this in the next game, please. I'm a terrible Dingodile player. His whole shtick is that he is slow and beefy. If you're Dingodile, you need to be the guy on the gem boosters or score bank keeping the opposite team off at all times. I have gotten my ass kicked by a bunch of these guys, especially the ones that drop healing fridges, so this character can be mastered. I'm just not up to the task. I usually stick to the quick and nimble characters in any game, so Dingodile is automatically a bad fit for me. Cortex is by far the hardest to master. He is a booster like Coco, but his moveset is more complicated than hers. I cannot be Cortex, but then again, I don't think he's bad either. The game overall is pretty balanced. Each person will find their own main and develop their own strategies along the way. If the game seems complicated, you are given a tutorial to learn the ropes, and there are training videos on Toys for Bob's Twitter page to watch, but I don't think those are necessary to see, as the in-game tutorial is good enough in my opinion. Now I will address the future for Rumble, as I do have some concerns. With this game being so heavily baked into the online gaming scene, I feel like CT Rumble will only thrive in its first year or so, with the game collecting dust over time. Part of why that is because of the game's nature, while also because of the lack of a single player mode, at least at launch. I want to be all in on the future for Rumble, but CTR Nitro Fueled had some serious issues with the online lobby, as you could spend several minutes waiting for a match to start just because the lobby would reset if someone left. We also just lost Crash on the Run recently, which promised to drop more content after a lengthy break, only to just disappear with little warning. CT Rumble is more fun than Run ever was, but I can't help but not trust Activision. Only time will tell if this game will last long, but I will admit that the game has a promising start. The online lobbies are certainly leaps and bounds above Nitro Fueled's. So now that I've played CT Rumble and the release window is around the corner, I just want to say that the wait for this game has been one of the worst ones I've experienced. Crash Team Rumble started out as this rumored game called Wumpa League, which I first saw bits and pieces of shortly after Crash 4 released, and nowhere from then up until very recently was I excited. It was a new Crash Bandicoot game, so of course I was going to play it eventually, but I needed info. I needed gameplay, I needed everything, and people just saying Wumpa League or the official Crash Bandicoot Twitter page doing jokes at the word Wumpa in them wasn't doing it for me. What made things worse was when Wumpa League failed to show up for the series' 25th anniversary. Whether this was due to the whole ActiBliz scandal or because the game just wasn't ready, we probably won't ever know for sure. All I know is that Wumpa League wasn't revealed in 2021, and we had to wait until the end of 2022 for the reveal trailer. And even then, a lot of people didn't know what to think, including me. This general confusion and the lack of information on the game was paired up with fans who weren't happy with Crash 4, seemingly enraged over there being a new Crash Bandicoot game done in the same fashion. I do think we're all entitled to our own opinions, but people act like this new Toys for Bob Bandicoot murdered their family or something, when I personally think these are the best designs Crash & Company have ever gotten. Gone are the realistic looking PS1 upgrades with ugly fur filters, they ditched the pink muzzle, which was never something I liked on Crash to begin with, and the new design is both cool and goofy. Everyone else looks great too, but I'm going off topic. All I'm saying is that Crash has looked much worse. I mean, remember Crash the Titans? That duology that killed Crash Bandicoot back in 2008? I have seen other posts upset about things like how CT Rumble isn't a Bash remake, which, sorry, it doesn't deserve one, or how others like the Crash Reddit group just being overly angry at modern Crash, and then those that shot down the positive comments some early players gave to Rumble, accusing them of being bribed by Activision. It's exhausting, and I can go on. Every fandom has their bad apples. I'm a big Sonic fan, I know all about Chris Chan, but before playing Rumble, Crash didn't feel safe to me. Like, if I told someone that I like Crash Bandicoot, they'll think I'm some kind of nutjob, and that's sad. Crash was one of my safe havens when life got too rough. Nobody around me understood it since the series was dead when I was marathoning these games before the revival. It was like my niche thing, and now that Crash is back, we have certain individuals that I won't name ruining the fun. I shouldn't let them get to me, and neither should you guys, but the toxic behavior coming from some of us needs to stop. We all wanted Crash to come back, he did, he gave us some good remakes, even if I have problems with the N. Sane Trilogy, and Crash 4 was an awesome step forward. That, with a few tweaks, could pave the way for the best game in the entire series. Rumble isn't Crash 5, it's a new spin-off idea, and I want to see where Toys for Bob will go with this. Crash hasn't done much outside of platforming, racing, and minigame compilations, so I welcome this new gameplay idea with open arms. But anyway, I'm signing off now. I don't think I'll do a CT Rumble review since June is my cutoff month for game reviews, and I will be chipping away at Sonic Timber again. So when I decide to return to the Bandicoot, expect a review of Crash 2. As for my next video, I'm not entirely sure, but I will return soon enough. Thank you for tuning to this episode of Banditex. I'll catch you in the next one.